Have you ever just stopped and wondered if there's a simpler way to be happy? Well, today we're going to dive into some ideas from this really ancient text called the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. It was written thousands of years ago, but honestly, what it says about finding peace might be more important for us now than ever before.
I mean, that's the big one, right? What's the best thing we can possibly do? Thousands of years back, a group of really wise people got together and asked this exact question. They wanted to find the one single thing that would bring the most good to all of humanity.
And after all that thinking and talking, the answer they came up with was, well, it's surprisingly simple. They said the absolute best path for anyone is the path of pure, selfless love. Okay, so what in the world does that actually look like? This path has a name. It's called Bhakti. And it's so important to get this. It's not just a feeling, like a warm, fuzzy thought. No, Bhakti is about action. It's about doing things, serving others, with a motivation that is purely love and without expecting a single thing back. Just think about how we normally operate, right? So much of life is, if I do this, then I'll get that. Our focus is always on the result, on the reward. But the path of Bhakti, it just flips that whole idea on its head. The focus isn't on what you get. The joy is in the doing itself. And that, right there, is what leads to a real, unshakable inner peace. So when we start to actually walk this path of selfless love, something really amazing begins to happen on the inside. It starts to bring this incredible clarity, almost like you're wiping dust off a mirror and you can finally see your true, happy self again. But how does this whole cleaning the heart thing actually work? Well, the process is actually really beautiful and gentle. It all starts with a simple choice. What are we listening to? What stories are we letting into our minds? When we choose to hear and think about things that are good and loving, all that other noise, the jealousy, the anger, the worry, it just starts to fade away. And what's left is a heart that's steady and full, and a mind that becomes calm, clear, and genuinely happy. Now, as our minds get clear, we start to understand this really big core idea, that the ultimate truth of everything isn't just one flat thing. It's more like a diamond, the same diamond, but with all these different beautiful facets you can look at. Let's make this super simple. Think about any person. To their child, they are mom. To their own parents, they're a daughter. To their friends, they're a friend, right? It's the exact same person, but who they are seems different depending on the relationship. And this is exactly the same logic the text applies to the absolute truth. It says it's one single reality, but we can experience it in three main ways. As Brahman, this all-pervading spiritual energy; as Paramatma, that quiet guide that's present inside every single one of us; and as Bhagavan, the personal source of all love and all beauty. Three different views of the very same thing. All right, so once we have this clarity, we also start to notice these fundamental energies that shape our lives. You can almost think of them like different flavors we can choose from, and each one totally changes our experience of life. These flavors, or energies, are called goodness, passion, and ignorance, and they influence everything: what we think, what we do, how we see the world. And while they're always kind of mixed together, the real secret, the real power, is knowing that we can actually choose which flavor we want to cultivate. And that path to clarity and happiness we've been talking about, it's all about cultivating goodness. The text says this quality is like a bright, steady flame. So when we choose to do things and think things that are rooted in kindness and honesty and learning, we are literally bringing more light and peace into our own lives. So let's bring this all together. Why choose this path of love? Why try to clean the heart? Why aim for goodness? What is the whole point? What's the ultimate destination here? And the text is so clear about this. It says that the ultimate purpose of everything we do, our jobs, our families, our hobbies, all of it, is to connect to that higher truth through love. And it has to be unmotivated and uninterrupted. That, it says, is what will completely satisfy who we are. In other words, the purpose of life isn't just about what we can get for ourselves. The real goal is to connect with that universal source of all love and joy. And here's the beautiful twist. The more we focus on giving that love, the more our own hearts just get filled with a kind of peace that nothing and no one can ever take away. So in the end, this ancient wisdom isn't just some cool philosophy to think about. It's a practical guide for how to live. And it leaves us with a really simple question to take with us into our day. What is just one small thing you can do today, not for any reward, not for any recognition, but purely and simply out of love.